Oh, good morning. It's a sunshiny kind of day. FFA week. Oh, we've had so much fun already on FFA week. And, of course, I've got a couple of young ladies in here that are FFA members this morning. We're going to be talking about, well, if I know Miss Trimble, we'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. But it's going to be, you know what, it's a whole lot of fun. And anytime that we can hear all about what they're doing in FFA from the kids who are doing it themselves, that is absolutely amazing. So we're going to talk to them. Don't go anywhere. Coffee Talk, man, is where it's at.
Is that the doorbell?
Hey, come on
We'll
in.
be back in just a few minutes and see who's at the door. Coffee Talk on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's here. The Loyal Listener Big Deal Store is online and waiting for you to shop and buy gift certificates to local businesses. Go to WPKYonline.com. Click on Loyal Listener Big Deals. Here you'll find dozens and dozens of gift certificates. Some you'll even be able to redeem from your smartphone. Shop and buy 24 hours a day and save a ton of money in the process. Save on oil changes, dining out, haircuts, car washes, and more. Our store never closes, but you better hurry. You never know how long each deal will last.
Roots run deep in our Kentucky state parks, and they run deep at United Southern Bank, too. So, hey, that's kind of fitting. United Southern Bank is giving away a $250 Kentucky State Parks gift card to one lucky winner. All you gotta do is hop on WPKYonline.com. Click on Contests under the Community tab. Winner drawn at 4 p.m. March 8th.
We're back.
Good morning.
Let's see who else decided to drop by and talk to Tess this morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Join the conversation on Coffee Talk on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Oh, I've got a studio full, and that's the way I like it. Talk about FFA week, and we're doing it up in a big way. We're having a whole lot of fun this week. Of course, we've already talked to a lot of the kids this week in the studio, and now this, well, and of course we had Wes York in the house too, and that was a whole lot of fun. But today is the ladies' turn. It's Miss Megan Woods, and then we've got Lakin White. Lakin, right? Am I saying that right? Okay, Lakin White, and we've got Katie Trimble with us this morning. And good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Happy FFA week. How about that?
Yeah.
A national holiday. That's exactly as it should be. And Miss Megan Woods, I'll tell you, I've never seen anybody, first of all, that could schedule things like you could this week.
Thank you. I take that as a big compliment.
That's a huge compliment. Most of the time, I fly by the seat of my pants. Don't tell anybody that, but I do that a lot. But I'm telling that's kind of an ag thing, though, is to really be able to get organized and figure out where you're going and what you're doing, right?
It's nice to have committed kids. That's the hint. And with the schedule for school this year, I have kids that don't necessarily report to school every single day. So that makes what we've done this week pretty easy. Plus, you get a chance to meet these kids.
I love them. Don't get me wrong. I went to school with one of them's daddy. I'm not going to name any names, Ben. And we were talking about things that might or might not have happened when we were in school back in the day. But, that's, I think, one of my favorite things about seeing these kids come in is that knowing that they're alumni, that their parents were there too, that this is a legacy that's being left year after year after year for the next generation. And I think that's kind of what FFA is all about.
I agree. Yesterday, the social media post for WPKY was a challenge to kind of talk about a legacy and where'd you get your start. And something the kids don't know is my grandfather, Wendell Roberts, was the chapter president. My dad, Craig Roberts, was a chapter president. When I was in high school, Megan Roberts, I was a chapter president, and I get to see those legacies live out in other kids too. I mean, we've got lots of kids that are in school right now, and their parents were highly involved. We get lots of stories of, well, Mr. York and I we were school buddies, and I can't wait till that happens to me. Or I have my brother's children. That'll be something.
Well, I'll tell you, the Roberts farm has and the farmers and your entire family has done so much for the community over the years as well. That's a great example of, being even not, you don't even have to be a chapter president, but, being in FFA and coming out of FFA and really, putting that love and that effort and that hard work back into the community.
Yeah, so many boards that I've sat on or I've been a part of, there's at least 50% of the individuals in our community that also serve on those boards. They have had experience in the high school agriculture classroom and part of the FFA. That's where they get their ability to speak, their confidence. And I guess it's a trained intuition to commit. I don't have to text these kids and remind them first thing in the morning that they're coming to the radio station. There's times where they remind me. So, that's one of the beauties and the things that we don't teach in our curriculum every day, but we still get. I left a greenhouse full with my student teacher of kids that were planting in the greenhouse, and I didn't have to go through and tell them this has to be done. They are committed to that work, and it's one of the beauties of the things we teach.
Well, really, we met a student teacher yesterday from Murray State University. Man, I mean, that's Murray State, that again, but it's that cycle, and now our even our college students are coming back and giving some love and mentorship and helping out at the high school level. And, when I ask, is this what you want to do? Is this what, you want to spend time with these kids and help them? And absolutely, it wasn't, oh, twist my arm. It was, yes, how long can I stay,
Oh, yeah. I could name a long list of kids that I graduated with or ones that I've had as students that have been very, very successful in their careers. As a matter of fact, this year's the first year I've ever had students of mine that are now ag teachers. I have Benji Kilgore, who is at McLean County, and Matthew McIntosh is at Lyon County. And I have graduates that's going to graduate from Murray State that will be ag teachers soon. And it's pretty incredible to see that these kids might one day take my job.
I think that's awesome, though. When you think about it, we were just talking about, Wes and I were talking on Monday about how, it might have been horticulture, but now there's like 6 different levels of it. But that's huge, because these kids can really get into niche, kind of areas, or they can broaden their horizons and do it all. They don't have to be limited to one thing or another anymore. You don't have to be pigeonholed. And I think that's so cool because these two ladies are a really good example of that, I think, with Lakin doing livestock judging. And then, Goat Impromptu? It sounds like that you're really into the livestock side of things.
Yes, ma'am. I love livestock. And when I get older, I hope to have my own farm and become a veterinarian for large and small animals.
You need to ask her about her SAE.
About her what now?
My supervised agricultural experience.
Oh.
So I raise goats and then I show them and sell them. So I have boer goats and Nigerian dwarf goats. And then I have one seinen just for the fun of it. And then we also have some cattle that we raise and sell, and it's really fun. I enjoy it.
Oh, boar, goats, and fun. That is not 2 words that usually go together. They're not usually a whole. Well, they think they're a whole lot of fun. So how did you get into boar goats? Because that's mainly a meat type of goat, correct?
Well, I started livestock judging, and we judge boar goats most of the time. And I really enjoyed it. And my parents were like, okay, if you really like this, then we'll consider showing. I said, but I want to show cattle. They said, no, we're not showing cattle. I said, come on, I want to do cattle. They're like, we have no clue what we're doing. We're going to start small. I was like, okay. So they said, you're going to get a boar goat and show it. I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I started, and I really loved it, and I kind of forgot the whole cattle idea. So now I'm just in love with my boar goats, and I enjoy it a lot.
You know what, though, with that pretty red head, I mean, they're kind of adorable. They really are. We had goats when I was a kid, if you can't tell. I used to play with, I didn't have any brothers or sisters, so I would play with the goats. But that, you know what, that's kind of how a lot of us got started in it, was just outside playing around.
Well, I think the beauty of Lakin and Katie's SAE and the fact that, they have smaller animals compared in the livestock industry, and they can do this on their own. They don't have to have mom and dad financial support, which I'm sure you both had a little bit of it to get you started.
For sure.
Yeah.
But, they didn't have to have them go out with them to the pasture and handle the animal. Both of them have really great programs, but they're independently ran programs.
See, I love that. Of course, I know I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let her say it. Miss Katie Trimble, what do you have?
You just want me to list them all because there's a lot.
I drive by that lot every day, so no, I don't. we don't have time for all that, Katie. No, what do you do in FFA? Where is your interest lie? You know, is it with, you know, I know hers is with goats and that sort of thing. Where's yours at?
So it started out. It probably all started when I joined 4-H in like the 4th grade, and I did livestock judging, and I've done that every year except last year because of the virus. But now when I started FFA, I already had the pigs, I already had the knowledge, and it was just like you're gonna do it because it just came naturally. So it started with pigs, and it's progressed, and now I have the pigs. I was on the state horse judging team, and we won, and we were supposed to go to nationals last year, but you know that didn't happen, unfortunately. And so now the pigs have kind of declined a little bit because of the virus, and the pork industry is a little tougher to stay in because of the demand and everything. But now I focus more towards chickens, and you never knew chickens had such a personality. So I mean, but
they're a hoot.
Yeah, and
I'm not gonna lie. They're
yes.
I loved. Do you hear her? I mean, you do because you're used to hearing them all the time. But she's talking about markets, and she's talking about. You know, we're high school kids, and we're talking. How old are you, Katie?
17.
When you look at these girls, they're not even out of high school yet, and they're looking at markets, and they're looking at pricing, and they're looking at judging these animals down to, you know, hawks, really and truly.
Yes, they're learning how to balance a budget and run their own business.
Right.
I get phone calls weekly of businesses in town or individuals in town that would like to have a kid work for them. Either they've graduated or they're currently in high school, and they want a recommendation from somebody. And I get to give them names like this. Now, I also tell them, now they're already running their own business, so they might not have time for yours. But when you get to give a recommendation like this and know that this kid's not going to kind of, you know, ruin your name as a good recommender, it's pretty great.
Well, and they don't give up. They don't seem intimidated by any of it either. Like, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, that sounds fun. But, you know, you don't just do it. You tackle it. You know, when those competitions, when you're going into those competitions, I want people to understand these are not easy. And when we're talking about, especially when you move on past the regional, you know, area, that's tough because these other kids are smart too.
Yes.
So can you guys talk about the you know, even if it's equine or swine or whatever you want to do, as far as judging, what do they do?
So you may talk about horse judging?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. Horse judging started out as part of the small animal equine class we took with Miss Woods in my sophomore year. And they kind of were just looking at the kids and whoever did good or excelled at it, and they were like, would you want to do the competition? Well, naturally, doing livestock judging in 4-H, I was like, yeah, like, why not? And so we went into it, and Caldwell County is not the prominent horse part of the state. You know, Kentucky's about race horses and thoroughbreds and all of that. And so we went into it, and we're like, we're just going to do our best, and we'll see how it goes. And then we came out, and we were the champions. And we were all excited, getting ready to go to nationals. And, you know, you look for the horse that just is the prettiest, honestly. Whatever horse is the prettiest. And
well, it's a lot more complicated than
but,
that.
I mean,
but she's putting it lightly.
I don't want her to
it's a
sell
lot
herself
harder.
short
Yeah.
on that. That's
Yeah.
hard. It really is. Even, you know, with any of the animals that you're judging, really, it gets down to very minute little details, even in dairy and all of that. And that's something that we have really been competitive for years. I mean, Caldwell County has really been a competitor. And, you know, when we walk in a room, people know when Caldwell County has walked in a room.
You're exactly right. And the beauty of all that is it starts in the classroom, in the seat. That's where all of our curriculum is laid out. And I don't go into a subject and say, okay, we're going to win this contest. It's more of, we're going to learn about this animal. What do we do with this animal? How do we want this animal to grow? What part of the animal do we want it to develop well? And once they learn those basics, then they can really excel. When we talk about public speaking, I don't talk to them about how they're going to win a contest. It's how are you going to articulate yourself to be able to command a room and to do a job. Now, that in turn might go into a contest.
Well, now, I also see on here, I see Parley on Lakins. And I will tell you, I had some kids in here yesterday that were telling me to include your chapter president that was telling me all about how amazing our parliamentary team is.
Specifically her age.
That's exactly what she said yesterday. So congratulations, because it looks like you guys are knocking it out of the park.
We are. We're doing really well. We have a great group of mainly girls. There's a few boys in there. But last year we had a junior parley team that was all girls. And we killed it at competition. It was really great.
I love hearing that.
And so we're moving up this year to senior parley. And it's going to be a change. It's going to be different and a lot harder, but I'm still excited about it. You know, we're still going to do our best. It may be a little different and a little bit harder because you're working with, you know, kids that are on a higher level than you, that are older than you. But it's still going to be exciting.
Well, you know what? When you get out of the real world, you're not going to be, you know, separated by your age group. You know, you're going to be up against, you know, whoever, whenever. And I think that's amazing that you guys don't. I love the fact that they're like, oh, we have a ball. It's not like, oh, we got to sit down and learn procedure today.
That's how I felt when I was in school.
I will tell you, you guys are doing something right, though, Megan, because, you know, that's the way a lot of us felt when we were in school. We got to learn about procedure. These kids are like, no, bring it on.
And they're what motivates me. There are subjects where I think, oh, man, I hate teaching this subject, like horse judging.
She's good at it, though.
I hate teaching about horses. I'm not a horse girl. I don't like horses. Like parliamentary procedure. It's like pulling teeth to get those kids to stand up and speak for the first time. Once they get that bug, they're fine. But, oh, I dread teaching it.
You fall in love with it after you do it for a while because it becomes so natural and you're like, oh, let's do it. Let's go. It's fun.
It's addictive, isn't it?
It is.
You know, it's so funny, though, when you start out with things like that at FFA, it makes things that you have to tackle later on so much easier. You know, I think I just saw a post from Jess Sims yesterday talking about when he was in FFA, and now, of course, he's one of our magistrates for Caldwell County and has no fear of speaking whatsoever.
Oh, no.
And that started in FFA all those years ago.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a really big testament. And we have a county and counties in this area full of folks that, you know, really, that's kind of the way they started, and they're just continuing with it. And I can't have Megan in the house without talking a little bit about that greenhouse. And don't get me wrong, I know that there's others in the room that might know a little about greenhouse and vegetables too. But, you know, are you ladies, are you interested in the greenhouse and the vegetable or production side of things?
For sure. I mean, yeah. Like
Trimble Farms, hello.
Yeah.
What
Not
about
as
you, Lakin?
much as I am with the livestock, but I enjoy it. I take the greenhouse class, and I have fun. I just don't have a green thumb.
You know what, though? That's kind of the way we find it, isn't it? That's how we find what we're good at. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to see somebody that can really do a lot of different things, that's a farmer. And they've got to be able to.
100%.
So
Yes.
tell us all about the greenhouse classes.
So
You're famous for those, by the way.
Thank you. This year we have 2 greenhouse classes. The beauty about our greenhouse is it is all student grown. We do have plugs that we purchase in from a company called Jolly Farmer that's up in Canada. But when those plugs come here, they need all the love and attention and care from these kids. So the students in our classes are assigned specific spaces in the greenhouse, and those are the stations that they take care of. And their names are labeled on those benches, and they get to do things that nobody else in the entire school gets to do. We have lots of customers that follow our Facebook page and that come and purchase from us. We are 100% community supported, but we do not grow vegetables in our greenhouse. We're not like the high tunnels that the conservation office, I heard you talking yesterday to Jenny Frank. The conservation office, they have a great high tunnel program, and we get to talk about vegetable production in the classroom, but we don't necessarily grow vegetables in our greenhouse. We have bedding plants, annuals, and perennials. And this year we really expanded into the succulent industry. because I was not sure how our spring was going to look.
Right.
This time last year, I was looking at a full greenhouse and a school shutdown. And I was probably a little nervous about what I was going to do if I was still going to have a full greenhouse in May. But the community really came through. Our wholesalers in the community came through. I was able to wholesale stuff to people like Katie, and she was able to put that into their market at their roadside market. So that was awesome to have individuals that was so supportive of us. But our greenhouse currently is full of ferns and geraniums, and I just got 2 more boxes of more and more plugs. We probably had 50,000 plants delivered yesterday to put into 6-packs and 6-inch pots, and we'll have the next 2 months to really boost their growth, and we will be open the Monday after spring break.
Wow. I mean, wow. Well, and I talked a little bit to Wes the other day about the hydroponics. Just there's things like that just make me excited, because that's innovations and that's new ways to, make a garden where somebody could actually have that right in their house or right on their porch if they live in the middle of town. And it's solutions that these kids are looking for. And I think that that's important. And as we saw in the last year, being able to be food independent and being able to take care of yourself, whether that means livestock or whether that means vegetable production or, fruits or whatever, that I think is going to become kind of at the top of everybody's mind in the next few years.
Absolutely. I feel like the education that needs to come with that is probably a little far behind. Whenever we had the shutdown and people were saying, okay, I'm at home, I'm going to grow a garden. They had some beautiful starts to some gardens, but then they really they didn't know how to care for them after they put the plants in the ground. And my kids did. That was the beauty of they either knew how to do it or they knew how to find the information, or I had lots of people contacting me. What's wrong with my garden? Why does it look like this? So I feel like when we continue to grow into that food development at home, we're going to have to start educating ourselves, and there's going to be more of that kind of home education pop up. And I think that would be a really good SAE for a kid, maybe a at-home garden education program, or, your community grown gardens. But
I'll tell you, they could do a Ask the Student blog more than likely and get a ton of questions. And again, but I think that that's the beauty of it, because when they graduate, they're going to be the ones that are teaching not only their own children or but they're going to be teaching their communities. So what's the plan, Stan? Are we going to college or what are we doing after this? I'll start with Lakin.
After high school, I want to go to Murray, hopefully get, my pre-vet degree, and then hopefully go to Auburn after that and finish my degree off. And eventually I want to own my own practice.
I love that. And we want you to open your own practice, Lakin. We'll get the friends discount, right?
Yeah.
Katie and I are like, come on, hook us up. So, Katie Trimble, what's next?
Started out, I was thinking about going to Murray, staying in state and closer to home. And now that I've looked at it and kind of looked at all the conditions of my situation, I'm a little more open to branching out and maybe attending out of state. So like Oklahoma, Texas, there's no limits to where I could go. So.
I love that, because you know what? You stretch your legs a little bit. You introduce yourself to some new customs and maybe some new ways of doing things. And that's how we grow.
Yeah. When I first started teaching, I always heard about, this kid's going to participate in this contest because it builds their resume. And that's true. But I will tell you that these kids have built their resume, but they have built it with foundation blocks. It's not just something that they put on. They didn't join 6 clubs in the high school because they can put that on their resume. They've done things that when Katie goes off to Oklahoma, she can survive on her own and her mom and dad's not going to be worried about her. But you do have 2 teachers' kids here, so...
Mama's going to worry. Let's be honest. I'm a mama's girl. Mama's going to worry. So
Mamas are always going to worry. That's not the problem. It's we worry, but we love and hope that... We plan for the worst and hope for the best, and pray for the best. I think is what we end up doing.
That's a big motto at home. Plan for the worst, hope for the best, pretty much.
Well, you know what? I think that both of you are extraordinarily smart and talented, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do out in the world, Megan, because these two they're going to set it on fire.
I agree, 100% agree.
What's next for FFA and for Ag up at Caldwell County High School?
So besides the greenhouse opening in the spring, Mr. York probably talked about the CNC wood and metal cutting. Metal prices are going down, so hopefully they'll stay that way. They've kind of stabilized. So those will continue in the shop. We have got competitions coming up in March. First week of March, we have impromptu competitions, which will be done virtually via Zoom. That's not something that the kids are unfamiliar with. That is how they competed at the state convention, and they were probably a little nervous then. Now that we have done virtual classes and other virtual competitions, it's really not that big of a deal. So we've got our judges lined up already, and they are going to start local speaking competitions soon. We've not set a date because our little snowcation kind of threw some glitches in all that. But
snowcation and calving season all at the same time, I'm sure.
Yes, that has been the experience for us.
Multitask.
So we've got local speaking competitions, regional speaking competitions coming up, as well as their parliamentary procedure competitions. And then we're probably looking at some virtual CDEs like livestock judging, horse judging, dairy judging. They're supposed to make an announcement in March about if our state convention will happen, will FFA camp happen, and how they will look. Will they be virtual? Will they be in person? And then, of course, we start after school ends, we start our state fair competition. We did not have a state fair this past year, so Lakeland actually didn't even get to go to the state fair, which is unheard of for a kid in an agriculture program not going to the state fair. So we've got lots of things coming up. Hopefully this warm weather will bring some happy thoughts and some normalcy.
Well, then when you think about it, and oh, by the way, they're still raising their animals.
Yes. Yes, they are.
You know, and if it's maybe horticulture that they're into, they're still doing that too.
Yeah. And there's a competition called Proficiencies that we've done really, really well in.
I bet.
That has not changed. You know, COVID can't touch that. They still do their paperwork. They're still doing their jobs, and that part has not changed. And we've got some really great proficiencies that will compete middle of March, and we're expecting several of those to go to the state competition.
I'm going to tell you what, I'm about as proud of your FFA as I could be. I have one kid after another that comes in here. I mean, you can't just point at one and go, oh, well, that one's going to do good. No, it's every single one. In every single one, their eyes twinkle about something different. I mean, goats, yes, ma'am. I mean, she is, you know what I mean? But hers are a little bit different. So, I mean, I love that, though, because that's what makes it work at the end of the day.
I agree. Absolutely.
Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
And I've enjoyed it. Of course, don't get me wrong. We've still got more this week. This is not the end of it. We still got another group coming in on Friday as well. So National FFA Week, of course, all day long, you hear some of the quotes and excerpts from kids throughout the day. We'll have that as well. So make sure you check us out online on our website for some updates and some neat little stories. But Miss Megan Woods, we thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hey, stick around. Speaking of FFA and ag and the education leading to something in employment and what you do out in the world, I got a girl coming up next that might know something a little bit about that. Hang on.
Grab your refill and hurry back. We'll find out who else decided to drop by next.
Hey, good morning.
It's a beautiful morning.
On Coffee Talk on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
For a delicious meal, try Kay's Kitchen in Princeton. They have great home cooking, just like Mom and Grandma used to do. Enjoy cook-to-order breakfast every day, all day. Daily lunch specials include favorites like open-faced roast beef, grilled chicken tenderloins, country fried steak, smoked pork chops, and catfish and shrimp on Fridays. All your favorite veggies, too. And don't forget Kay's homemade desserts. Open Monday through Thursday, 5 to 2, Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday, 5:30 to 11. Kay's Kitchen, 501 North Jefferson Street, Princeton, 1 block from the courthouse.
FFA makes a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education. I am Rachel McClung of the Caldwell County FFA chapter.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Western Kentucky Regional Blood Center.
There's no doubt winter is here. If you're tired of being stuck at home because of bad weather, maybe it's time to make sure that you have a vehicle that can handle what Mother Nature dishes out. Your home team at Trice Hughes can help you do just that. Check with the home team at Trice Hughes. They'll make sure you drive off with a vehicle that'll meet your needs.
Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
Big deals.
Have you been to Big Deal Store yet? Go to WPKYOnline.com and click on Loyal Listener Big Deals. The other day, I redeemed a gift certificate on my smartphone. It was so easy. Thanks to Loyal Listener Big Deals, I found new places to eat, have fun, take the family out, and get my car fixed. With Loyal Listener Big Deals, you can save money and try new businesses. Go to WPKYOnline.com. But you better hurry. You never know how long each deal will last.
WPKY, YourSportsEdge.com, and Edge Media Group proudly offer Tiger Tales, a 2020 look back at the 2020 football season. Stop by any of these locations for your free copy. Farmers Bank and Trust Company, Herb Hayes Furniture and Mattress, Josh Ray Woodman of the World, Trice Hughes Incorporated, and Treasures Remembered Florist and Greenhouse.
Keep up the good work.
If you're a Caldwell County football fan, you'll love this collector's edition full of full-colored pictures, stats, and more.
You are so great.
And the best part, it's absolutely free.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to these additional community supporters, Caldwell County elected officials, McDonald's of Princeton, Caldwell Medical Center, and C3 Electric. Caldwell County's Tiger Tales. Pick one up today from YourSportsEdge.com.
WPKY.
And 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Come on in.
Grab your cup and be a part of the conversation. Coffee Talk on 1580 103.3 WPKY, worldwide at WPKYonline.com.
Oh, it's one of my favorite days of the week. Why, do you ask me? Because on Wednesdays, we always get to visit with the Extension Office. And I'll tell you, there is never a shortage of things that they've got going on and things for the community and just kind of cool stuff. And then the last time that the Extension Office was with us, they were talking about maybe a recipe club, and I got so excited. And then Shane told me over the weekend that it was Ashley Board was, see, I almost called her White. I did earlier, and then it almost slipped out again. So Ashley Board is with us this morning from the Caldwell County Extension Office, and man, talk about a place that these FFA students could be doing what you're doing in, I don't know how many years.
I know.
I mean, that
was awesome.
They're so cool, and they get so excited. I said I could do this every day with these kids and never get tired of it, because you get to see, that they've got dreams and they got a twinkle in their eye, and it doesn't matter what's been going on in the last year, because they just kept doing what they were doing. They're like, y'all just go on with the pandemic, and I'm just going to go out and I'm going to feed my animals and I'm going to do my stuff. And that's what they've been doing for the last year, and I think it's so cool.
I know. They're doing what they love.
Oh, now see, and this is a lady that does what she loves a lot too, I have a feeling, because there's no way you could do it that much and not enjoy it. But when it comes to exercise and healthy and trying to be healthier, I mean, with this recipe club, is that part of the goal?
Yes, and I'm really excited about the recipe club. Joni and I put our heads together on this one. And she is going to cook through the nutrition education program calendar, which we do have at the office. If you need one, stop by and pick one up. They are full of delicious, nutritious, and cost-effective recipes. So
see, the cost-effective is where you get a lot of us too.
Exactly.
And most of those even have like the shopping list right there.
They do, and they have little tips in the calendar for how to make it a meal.
I like that too.
So it's a great, and then at the end of the calendar, I may misspeak here, but in the past couple of years, they've had the cards where you can tear them out at the end of the year, and then you don't have to keep the whole calendar. So
those are one of my favorites, too.
I hope it's still the same this year.
If not, we want that for next year, okay?
If not, I'm going to make a note and tell them that we want that, because I already told them that it was.
Well, you know what, though? Those calendars are really, I like the fact that you can see in full color kind of what they're supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. And when I don't get anywhere close to it, I got something to shoot for. But, there's several of them in there in last year's calendar that I was a little iffy about. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I'm gonna do it for Ashley, so I did, and I was really pleasantly surprised that it was kind of a new take and a new twist.
Yes,
and I found myself using a lot of those spices later on in the year with other things that I normally wouldn't.
Right. So Joni and I put our heads together on that. She's going to do a recipe demo every month. You will receive then the NEP recipe plus some plated up Kentucky Proud recipes in the mail. And then there'll be a link to the recipe demo that Joni will do. And then we'll probably have another recipe demo, whether it's one that has been done across the state or whether it's one that I do or Joni does. So that will be on our YouTube page as well as our Facebook page. So you don't have to be involved in Facebook, and you don't have to watch the YouTube videos to sign up. You can just get the recipes in the mail. We would love it if you would make if you sign up, if you would make at least one each month and then fill out our survey and kind of tell us how it is. Number one, it helps us plan future programs. Number two, it lets us know how the recipes are going. You know, if this one's a really popular one, then we know that and we can advertise that and say, hey, this one has been, because I mean, we get lots and lots of recipes and we try them, but we haven't had a chance to try them all yet. So we'd love to know what you think. Now, of course, that's not mandatory, but we would really, really, really appreciate it. So if you have not signed up for Recipe Club yet, it is not too late. Recipes go out next week. And then as long as we have space, we do have a limited number, but as long as we have space, we will continue to take new participants. So there is a link on our webpage. There is a link on our Facebook page. And then you can call the office and give us your name and address, and we'll sign you up that way too.
Well, and see, I think a lot of people are cooking at home these days when they didn't used to. In the last year, I think there's been kind of a resurgence, partially because of necessity. I understand that.
Sure.
But, you know, now that they've gotten in the groove of it, the kids are really kind of getting back into the kitchen a lot more. And that's something that you've been encouraging them to do for years.
Oh, sure. Cooking with your kids takes more time, takes a little patience, so that's good for you too. And it also teaches them reading skills. It's a good time to bond, and it's teaching them math skills, because trying to measure and all those kinds of things, follow directions, all these things that we want them to do anyway.
Right.
So that is a great opportunity for that. And we are really excited about Recipe Club. So join today. We still have spots. So if you're not technologically savvy and you don't want to get on the internet and sign up, just call me at the office and we'll get you signed up.
See, they even make way for things like that. And I appreciate that, because I know that I'm not the only one that might not be the best when it comes to technology. I repel it. It doesn't like me. But you know what? The extension office, it seems like no matter what you guys just about have on there, there's an alternative way for us to get a hold of it, or at least, become involved in it anyway.
Yes, and we're trying, and a lot of the things that we're having to do right now are online. They're either via Zoom or they're recorded, but we have the publications available too. So if you're not into Zooms or you're not on Facebook or any of those kinds of things, that's okay. We can print the information for you. So don't hesitate to call us. We'll be glad to help.
Before I get off of the food kick for a minute, one of the things that I loved about that I saw not too long ago is that you have the information for folks that are trying to do sugar-free diets and that sort of thing, that struggle with some new things like that. That information is on there too, because, the UK, they are amazing in having that table right there. It takes out the guesswork that says this equals that, and this is what you should have every day, those daily values. And those, I know that a lot of that information can be confusing and seems to change all the time. But that is one location that you can always go, that the information is always there, and you can trust it.
Yes. All of our information is research-based, and we have publications about reading the food label. So if you're confused about how to tell how many servings something is or how much added sugar and all of those things, we have those available.
Like those donuts that Heather just really does not like me having over here in the corner. It has it all on there. I just don't pay attention to it.
Well,
so that's what we're going to start doing more of this year. That's the whole point of that right there.
Yes. And our recharge in 2021, we did move that to online. So that we have a Facebook group. It's not too late to join. You're welcome to go through those sessions at your own pace. So search for Recharge in 2021 Caldwell County, and it should pop right up. If not, give me a call and I can get you to it.
Well, and see, that's one thing I love about that is the information part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some things that you just don't want to necessarily, that aren't comfortable talking about.
Sure.
But you still want the information.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's on there.
It is. It's ready for you to view at your own time.
And here's one right here.
All right. So now it's time to talk our estate planning. I hinted at this last time that I was here, and now registration is open, and we're getting so much closer to March. How is that possible?
It's next week, Ashley.
Let's just not talk about it.
I'm just saying. 61 today in February. Nothing is weird at all.
No.
I mean, that's normal. But, when this is something that we got to talk about, too.
It is. It's such an important topic and one that is not always the most comfortable to talk about. But the information is so important. And the University of Kentucky Family and Consumer Sciences Extension is hosting a 3-part series all about estate planning. It will be via Zoom. It is not recorded. So if it is something that you're interested in, you want to go ahead and mark that on your calendar and register. The first session is March 18th, and this is in the evening at 6:30.
Oh, that makes it nice for folks that work during the day.
It's in the evening, and it's a little bit later in the evening than some of our programs have been offered. So I think that's good for those of us that do have the full day and then.
Well, and this is something that, we don't want to talk about it a lot. But you know what? If we'll just go ahead and get it over with, it's something that we don't have to spend a ton of time on later.
Mm-hmm. And March 18th is just the basics, estate planning basics. March 23rd will be advanced directives and caregiver conversations, so how to talk about those things. And then March 25th will be wills, trusts, guardianship, and elder care.
Wow.
And this is an FCS state program, And so it is a registration online, but if you want to call our office, I can send you an email with the registration information. The registration information is available on our website. It's on the Family and Consumer Sciences Facebook page. And then it's also on the State Family and Consumer Sciences Facebook page. So lots of ways to register. Make sure that you get signed up for that.
Well, I like that it's a series. It's not all of the information at one time. We can digest it and I think retain it a lot better if we do it in cycles. And it's a lot easier to follow. And, by the end of it, then you seem like you've got it all put together.
Right. And it would be a perfect time to ask questions, submit questions, and you can just submit those in the chat box. You don't have to ask them out loud, or you can, and I think it'll just be a really great program. It's something that people have been asking for, but not necessarily something that they're like, woohoo, let's talk about this.
Laws change, and the ways that we did things 20 years ago are not the same today.
Right.
So, there's a lot of questions that we don't know where to ask, frankly.
Right.
And, the Extension Office is a really great trusted way to be able to go and sit down or go through those seminars with other folks that have the same questions.
Right.
So I think that's fantastic.
So
and how much does that cost, Ashley?
It's free.
Oh, well, that's right.
It's free.
That's my favorite part. That's making it affordable for anyone to be able to go out and get that kind of settled now so that you'll know what you're doing later.
Exactly. And then it is Kentucky Saves Week, so I do briefly want to mention that. Each day this week, we have a tip for saving on our Facebook page. If you're not on Facebook, that's okay. They have just been uploaded to our website.
Look at that.
So just click Family and Consumer Sciences and then Kentucky Saves, and you'll see all of the tips. But if you are interested in participating in Kentucky Saves Week and pledging to save a little bit of extra money, visit www.kentuckysaves.org and fill out that Kentucky Saves pledge.
You know what my grandma used to do all the time? She loved it. She would take every little like thing of wax, like off the candles or whatever she'd say, and then she'd end up making like the pillar candles. That what she would do with those is make the we have no electricity kind of candles. You know, the little things like that can actually save you a lot of money over the course of the years.
Mm-hmm. And things that you don't really think about. And one of the tips from the beginning of the week was to save automatically. Go ahead and do that direct deposit. Pay yourself first, and then you don't. Because if you leave it till the end, are you going to have any left over? Or are you going to go ahead and use that fun money?
Mama's buying a new pair of boots.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm saying if it, but if we take it out ahead of time, then it doesn't bother me. You know,
Right.
then I don't have to be responsible, Ashley.
You don't miss it as much because it's
so much
already
better.
It's just gone. So
I don't like trusting me.
we have lots of tips for saving this week, so check those out.
Well, thank you. Now, again, remind us how to get a hold of all of this, because I know we've thrown a lot of information at them,
Yes.
but there's so much this is a drop in the bucket at the seminars and the webinars and the different things that are available right now and that you can find online on your website.
Yes, we have a Caldwell County Extension Facebook page. We have a Caldwell County Extension website, caldwell.ca.uky.edu. And if you missed any of that, you can call us at the office, 270-365-2787. And you can email any of us at any point, and we will gladly respond. And there are lots of things. I just brushed the surface of what I have going on, but
I just remembered I wanted to
agents
ask
have-
you about one. Deceptively Delicious.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I was
tomorrow,
like, if
right?
it's not mine, don't ask me.
No.
Yes, and I didn't bring a flyer for that, so I forgot about that one. Yes, Deceptively Delicious is tomorrow. Angie York from Lyon County will be teaching that. It will be via Zoom, and that is a homemaker lesson. It is not open only to homemakers. Everyone is welcome to attend.
that.
So if you're interested, send me an email or call the office, and I can send you the link to join that.
It's got an interesting title.
It does. It's all about sneaking in those foods and helping those who are, I don't really want to say a picky eater, a choosy eater. Choosy.
Hey, I'm not choosy, but if you put cheese on it, I'll eat it.
Yeah. We like cheese at our house.
Cheese and
too.
bacon. I mean, that makes everything better. Oh, I thought of you the other day though, and I gotta run quick. But there were these mushrooms that were dehydrated, and when you ate them, they tasted like bacon, but they were mushrooms. I know. I thought Ashley Board is gonna love that I just did this. It was one of those deceptively delicious things.
Delicious.
It was pretty cool. So there are alternatives out there
Sure.
to the normal piece of bacon. If you're trying to, I don't know, spring's right around the corner. We got our short britches time coming. So if you're trying to lose a few or just get in healthy, there's definitely ways to do that.
There's lots of different alternatives. So if you can't make the Zoom tomorrow, that's okay. We can get you the publication. We have a publication called Kentucky Favorites, the Low Fat Way, that offers a lot of different substitutions as well. So
And most of the things that you do are FREE free, which I love.
yes.
So that makes it available to pretty well everybody if it's free, right? Can't be less expensive than that. Ashley Board, again, remind us your phone number, sweet girl, so that they can get a hold of you.
365-2787.
Thanks for joining us this morning for Coffee Talk. Good morning, Caldwell County. Our chance to get together and catch up on what's going on in our area.
Thanks for letting me come over, you guys.
Got a show idea or something you'd like to share? Email Tess at WPKYonline@gmail.com.
We'll be down to visit real soon.
For additional information on today's topics and past guests, visit our website at WPKYonline.com.
Y'all come back now.
Welcome home.
We'll be back soon. I promise. Come back now.
1580, 103.3 WPKY Princeton, an Edge Media Group station.
WPKY Princeton.
Hot news. I'm Chris Foster. President Biden's ordering a review of the nation's supply chain and whether we're too